What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm bringing you yet another draft. This time, this is a 14 team league. We have roughly 21 roster spots to fill, a Superflex league, and we have 4 wide receiver spots to fill, right? So this league is very punitive. It doesn't allow you to hoard one position. You have to fill a lot of different positions. And with 21 roster spots, there's not a lot of value left on the waiver wire. Uh, I started this stream earlier and had some technical difficulties, but hopefully this one will work. But essentially, we started all of the bidding by someone setting up their league mate to fail. Okay, what do I mean by that? Someone nominated Brian Robinson as opposed to Bijan Robinson. And so when you see the name on the screen, it usually gives you, in the Yahoo format, it gives you the player's first name and last name, first initial and last name. And so someone did pay up for Brian Robinson as opposed to Bijan Robinson. And so be careful and pay attention. And the first player that was nominated was obviously Brian Robinson, and someone bid a pretty penny for Brian Robinson. Keep in mind, this is a super flex league with all of these roster spots to fill. So that basically just takes one manager out of the running for a lot of positions. And so in this one, I've gotten a QB for 40 and Stribling for 14. A little bit of overpay, but sometimes that's the cost of doing business. Okay. And so I'm going to just try to focus on going heavy on my running back positions and then my quarterback positions here because this is a super flex league. And so I want to just solidify running back because I know it's hard to find running back in this league. There will always be a third string wide receiver that is thrust into action because of injuries. We know the position is very deep. Okay. So that is where we are. I'm just trying to catch you up here. The players that have gone off the board thus far, I want to say Brian Robinson, Bijan Robinson, Gibbs, Caleb Williams, Deshaun Stribling, Jaden Daniels, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Jamar Chase, Josh Allen for $53, Brock Bowers for 42, Brian Robinson for 70, Bijan Robinson for 70, and then Omariam Hampton for 48. All right. So the bidding here is pretty modest thus far. There's not a lot of craziness going on. So all good thus far. Besides the manager who walked away with Brian Robinson as opposed to Bijan Robinson. He's probably punching air right now. But you got to be careful in these leagues, man. You got to make sure you click on the player's name to really see who the player is that you are bidding on before you bid. So Joe Burrow for 42. So the QBs seem to be going at roughly 42. So that's good. And for me, I'm just gonna like stockpile players at different positions, and as they come in the draft, I'm not gonna wait. Certain if I see the player I like, I'm gonna go after them. Because what happens now is so there will be a lot of overpaying and stuff like that. So as much as I want, you know, Williams, yeah, it depends on what your strategy is. Like, I wasn't willing to go. There are still a lot of good running backs on the board, and I'm not willing to just go crazy. And this is what I also mean by going early on certain players, because someone nominated Kyren Williams, and in a normal setting later on in the draft, Kyren Williams will maybe have gone for, say, maybe $5-7 above his value, but now, given that it's early in the draft and everyone still has money, Kyren Williams is going for 35. Okay. So keep that in mind. Because that can come back later to bite you. But I just in this draft, sometimes you just gotta get talent where you can because later on it's gonna be crazy if you wait too long because it's 14 teams and there's a lot of spots to fill. So you want to get some uh snacks and values up front and then just wait for the later half of the draft to fill the rest of your roster. And hopefully you still have some money to spend at that point. So let's see here. Pop this draft up on the screen for you. All right, so we have some big names going off the board. This manager is drafting Chase, Nakua, um, Saquon Barkley for a lot of money. So I hope he knows what he's doing, right? This is not a case where sometimes I get suspicious of people like, this is a two QB league. What are you doing? You still need QBs. So we'll see what the rest of this roster looks like. But yeah. So let's see here. Uh, so I'd rather go for my running backs and that position like in this range here instead of paying the 50 range. But you never know. If managers keep outbidding you, there we go. All right. So it's $300. I'm at basically $200 now with three players. But my goal here is one more quarterback and then a few more running backs, and then just save the remainder of my money for wide receivers later and depth pieces. We're all looking for discounts at this point. The savvy managers in this league are looking for discounts. So what I'm going to do again is nominate the tight end position. I'm just going to keep hammering tight ends because I know that I'm not going to be spending my money at this position, right? I'll either stream the position, get someone that's a little cheaper, but I'm not going to be spending a bunch of my budget here. But you see what this introduces if you nominate the players you don't want early, forces managers to spend up. So if Trey McBride is going at the same price of my quarterbacks, I'm happy because I know that quarterback in this league, in this format, is pretty um, important and running back. So I'd rather spend my money there and have four running backs and go with a mediocre tight end than spending all my money up front. Yeah. But anyways, trying to focus here. I've got Daniels, Lawrence is on the board. I'm not going to wait too much here because I want to get a deal at running at geez, at QB, and no one's gonna get a deal at QB. So just sacrifice, get your QB, walk away. Even if you're overpaying, okay. So at least he's paying as much for Lawrence as I'm paying for, you know, Jaden Daniels or more. So sometimes when these drafts happen right after preseason games and people see how the prolific the offense looks, that's a sign of what to come. And so people are willing to pay a pretty penny for guys. But when we look at the QB position, is dwindling fast, right? I mean, once we start to hit guys like Bo Nix here, you want to make sure your QB position is solidified. So remember, this is 14-team league, and someone's going to be left holding the bag in terms of QB, and you don't want to be the one. So make sure you get your QB early and often, and then focus on running back and then wide receiver. And I know it's a lot of wide receiver spots to fill, but last year I was able to get by just just playing the most mediocre wide receivers there were, right? And I just needed bodies to fill that position and not necessarily and so I focused my attention on I focused my attention on the running back position. So you see, someone is going with the same strategy. Yeah, there we go. Solid, solid. See, I should have gone for Hampton for 47. That was my bad. So I like this strategy here. Now you get a couple QBs and then you fill out your wide receiver spots. So that's what I'm trying to do as well. Because yes, you may be overpaying. Excuse me. You may be overpaying now, but later on, you're going to be overpaying again. So at least if you get a few positions out of the way, you can now just look for value elsewhere. You can look for value, look for opportunities to draft certain players. So if I get one more solid running back, then I'm good. I can just relax for a little bit, pay up for second tier running backs to fill out my flex spots, and then get a QB and wide receiver. It's easier said than done. I've already spent way more on my QB position than I wanted to, but such is life. Your plans never always go to plan. Your plans never always go to fruition. Jesus, I'm tired, guys. I've been working on drafts and videos all day, and I can barely speak at this point. But I love doing this stuff, and hopefully, the more formats I bring to you, the different ways you can see how people are drafting. Um, no, didn't want to. Okay, all right. I need to chill. I need to chill because that's a lot of money going up front on these players I don't want to spend on. Need to really chill. So we're starting to see an uptick in QB values. I mean, I got Jaden Daniels for 40, and look at what Lamar's going for right now. And I think I've got Daniels ranked higher than Lamar. Let me see my rankings here. Yeah, according to my rankings, it's Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, and then Jackson Dart, Dak Prescott, guys like that. So I don't need an absolute top of the line QB anymore. I just need my backups uh, to, get one more cheap QB to fill out the rest of the roster here. But I mean, so you see okay, he got Brian Robinson for $67. So this guy got Brian Robinson for 67. So but then he went ahead and got Gibbs and Taylor. So Jesus, he's got $100 left, and he needs to get a QB and a lot of positions here. So um, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful in these drafts. Like I said, this is the second time it has happened in a few of my drafts. I saw this once in another draft. Luckily for me, I'm not crazy about Bijan this year, so I've just been staying away from all of that. But you got to be careful because people nominate Brian Robinson. If you're not paying attention, you are clicking. Some people are drafting on the phone, some people are drafting. There's a lot of different ways people are drafting. You never know. You may not be able to see the name clearly. And you just see Robinson and you see Atlanta and you start to bid on that player. So you got to be really careful um, in how you're approaching the draft. So let's look at running back. Jeez, running back here. Um, so we got Cook, Genty, and there's still some names on the board. And then you start to go to these lesser guys here. If I get one more top running back, and then I'm just going to kind of go and play in this bucket, get a bunch of these guys. Maybe that's what I do. Get a bunch of these guys and spend on the QB position, but you've got options. I just didn't want to be left holding the bag on the running back front because the more running backs I go off the board, the more expensive they become. So sometimes you may just want to nominate a player who is lower and who you think you can get away with for lesser. See what happens. So I'm going to do Travian Henderson at some point, see how much I can get away with, and then maybe Stevenson, Ramondre Stevenson, guys like that. So because there's still running back talent on the board, sometimes you pay a few dollars over the value of that player, but later on in the draft, they'll be going for even more. So what I'll do is I will test the waters. The next time it comes around, I will nominate one of these guys, say Jalen Warren, see what he goes for. Then make my read from there. Is he going for astronomically more than um, I want to pay for him now versus later in the draft when everything is more expensive because a lot of Chase Brown for 45. That's also a good price. I need to pay attention. Really, I need to pay attention. Um, there we go. I have $141 left. My QB position is solidified. I have one running back. That's good. So I don't need to worry too much about QB. I got some of the top QBs in the game. If I get my backups later, that's fine. And so now what I'm going to do is just start hammering QBs, right? Just get them out there. Just nominate as many QBs as possible. Or I can just wait at this point and see what happens. So that's a good price for Gary Wilson. Um, but the most important positions I've filled. So now I need to be strategic in how I fill the rest of my rosters out. And I may just be sitting and waiting a little bit more, let some money come off the table, and then pounce on opportunities. If I can get one more solid running back for 41, fine. If not, just wait a little longer on the running back front. Yeah, Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, I think good. There may come a time in the draft where people are, how do you say? There may come a time in the draft where people are struggling for QB. So if we look at what the standings look like right now, I am the one here with two QBs. It's a lot of teams here that have some of them. Yeah, so a few teams have multiple QBs already, or at least one QB. So there's still a lot of QBs to go around here, and that position shrinks pretty fast. And some managers will want to get multiple QBs, and so yeah, once it gets to me, I'm nominating another QB. You know, top wide receivers, top QBs, get them out there because I've already made a decision that my wide receivers position is going to be porous. It's going to be guys like Stribling. It's going to be guys like Casey Concepcion. It's going to be guys like Wandale Robinson. I just need enough bodies to be able to rotate through that position. If the price is right, so the more you get these guys out there, people start to feel the squeeze, right? So make them spend some of that budget and then go to work. So okay, Drake made for 46 automatically. Um, so yeah, so I knew some of this would happen, and so I just wanted to get my QBs and get out of this craziness, and then I can just worry about other positions. Because the more QBs that come off the board, the more people feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss out on a QB. There's a fear of missing out, and then people start to spend recklessly to get one QB. And because this is a two QB league, there's a premium on these guys. So if May is going for 51, yeah, just keep nominating them. But no one's doing that. Everyone's playing the same game, right? Everyone's like, I don't want to nominate QBs right now. Oh, there we go, another one. Um, But regardless of where to go in the draft, they're not going to be cheap, right? It's going to always pay $10 or more above their actual value. So compared to this manager who's got the same amount of budget as me, look at my roster, right? Um, two QBs, he's going big time on top wide receivers and stuff like that. Sheesh. Look at that. Chase, Nakua, Barkley, Genty. Scary, scary team. If you can get some QBs, yeah, that's a scary team. And then just find some players to throw in your flex. It's a scary team. Drake London better not go for like 30 something. I don't want to spend on running back. I mean, wide receivers this right now, and I don't want to spend that much on wide receivers. But yeah, someone better pay up. Wow, $37. I think what's happening now is that managers are a little afraid of being left without a QB or certain positions, and so they're making concessions on wide receivers, which I don't get why JSN goes for 54 and Drake London goes for 35. At least 45 would have been okay, but someone's talking about a trade of Jeremiah Love to the Packers. Is that true? Can't be true. Someone's messing with me. Someone's messing with me. Need to stay out of the chat. $50 on the dot. See who picked him up. Double reverse. Yeah, I mean, this is what happens if you Once you get your QB in certain positions, you can go a little reckless. But yeah, they made me pay 15 for Sam Laporta. Howard Fannin is going for 17. So maybe he's just a better. Let me see what the rankings look like. Tight end Howard Fannin. Yeah, Howard Fannin is ranked higher than Sam Laporta. So goodbye. Olave, love is, also there are some people managers that are so quick to like the button. Like, how did he enter that price so fast? The player literally just came up. You set the pricing floor. Um, you must really want the player that bad. Um, or they just do it the pricing force. So you got to be careful. There's still one manager here with all his budget. So it makes me want to wait a little bit, but not wait too long because this draft is very like uneven the way I've seen other drafts go. Like there's a lot being thrown out here right now. And if you're not careful, you get excited and you just start bidding on every single player. It's not the right move. Okay. So it seems like the tight ends are gonna go at some sort of discount. Obviously, the top those tight ends, not like the top guys. Who's got Jeremiah Love? It's like this type of stuff that wastes a lot of money, but like you feel it later on in the draft. $10 here for Algier, a guy that's gonna go for maybe $2 later on in the draft. But because managers have money and $10 doesn't look like a lot, you just spend it anyways. That's 10, 11, $12 for we know Algier is good, but really at this point, these are the players that have gone. Olave, 32, Justin Jefferson, Warren, and then Algier. Jackson Dar better go for a lot of money. There we go. So it makes me feel justified a little bit in paying up for QB. Last year in this league, I had Trevor Lawrence and Aaron Rodgers. It was the rest of my team was good, but just didn't give me a good enough floor every week. Um, so I wanted to change that around this year. I see what you're doing, sir. Is going the cheaper route. Yeah, that's a good buy right there. But the problem is that it is Nico Collins, and I know Nico Collins is going to be solid, but the running back position really is scaring me this year. And so when I see those guys going off, I know I need a full wide receiver, but I feel like I can make more concessions at wide receiver than I can at running back. And so I don't want to be, left in a situation where I can't get quality players at a position. So, so we see what those players are going for, right? So we see those second tier players are going now, but they're going at a price. So if I want to, I can start nominating those guys. It seems like I'll overpay, but not to the extent, you know, that it completely destroys my budget. So again, I'm just going to keep hammering QB since everyone seems to need another one or need two. Uh, get some of that money off the table and make sure managers pay up for the QB positions because I had to. Okay. Well, sir, you've got. Okay, so I guess he's going with Krusky Mary. You've got Brock Purdy, 37, Dak Prescott, 40, and Drake May for 51. So again, he's gonna be set at QB, and he can always trade a QB for someone else. Go ahead, sir. Mm, yeah, I wouldn't spend that much money on three QBs, right? Let's go back to that roster. I think he was probably trying to drive up the price and he got stuck with that QB because I'd rather that money go to a running back. He's got Algier and Krusky married as his running back. So he's, I guess, going cheap running back and then just going crazy on the wide receiver and the QB positions. At this point, after spending $80 on my QB position, I'm just gonna like pick up the backups. That's all you need. Uh, If a guy gets hurt, throw his backup in there, see how they perform. Also, there'll be a lot of guys on waivers that you can pick up and just stash backup types. But again, this is not my team. I need to focus on mine. If I had gone for very low QB, say if my QBs were Geno Smith, and maybe Daniel Jones, then I need a third QB, like a third solid starting QB. And we know guys get hurt, but that's the nature of the business. But I'm happy. I am. How do you say? I'm happy that I've been this patient. There's a lot of players I could have ended up with by now, but I'm being patient here. Um, hopefully it pays up. We don't know. But what we see here is max bids, you know, what they look like, and then what everyone else has. There is still this guy with $300. That is going to be scary later on in the draft. So you want to make sure you have some money when he starts to go, but make sure you also have some good players when he starts to go. So you are not um, at a disadvantage for any one player. You're just participating in the process as players come off the board. Wow. So he's just going to corner the market. Okay, this is pricing forcing. So he's going to pricing force and just corner the market on QBs. And this is something that happens, right? He's trying to drive up the price and force managers to pay up because he's got the QB and he's not. There's no problem if it all goes wrong. If I end up with that player, I end up with that player. But you're gonna pay up because he has three right now, and he was driving up the price, and that's how he got stuck with Dak Prescott. But that's not bad. He can always trade Dak for a starting position. So not a bad strategy. Just be careful. Um, yeah. So you see how crazy it is right now. I don't want to be playing in this bucket, even though the QBs are going for a reasonable price point. I still don't want to be here right now trying to get a QB. Goodbye, Rumper. Yeah, so the QBs now are flying off the board. QBs are going to be flying off the board now. This is the position you put yourself in here if you go heavy up front. Um, because two players and you are basically done. So he's pushing for roughly 30 for Tyler Shug now because everyone's feeling the heat. But the managers with the most money can just outbid you. We see that sneaky players trying to get involved in the bidding here. So I think what managers think early when they enter these drafts is that, hey, I'm going to get a cheap QB. And then they wait. And then every QB that comes off the board is expensive, or every running back that comes off the board is expensive. So then they're like, okay, let me just get a QB. And then this becomes just like this frantic thing that everyone is participating in. And I'm good. I've got my positions handled. So I'm good. Like this guy is basically done. But yeah, the core of his team is there. If he gets one more QB, if he can, and it saves a few dollars here and there to get the rest of his rosters filled, that's fine. But that's a lot of spots to fill though. So Adam Schefter was on a podcast I listened to, and he was talking about George Pickens, and he was saying, "Hey, if this guy gets hurt, this is contract year. If he gets hurt, do you anticipate him playing the rest of the season, or is it one where he's going to fold it in and just be like, you know what, take care of myself, see if I can get paid next year?" So it has got me a bit nervous about George Pickens, but he's still going at a good price. So let's look at the QB position. See, Matt Stafford is going for close to 40. So I'm glad I got out of there early. This is what QB looks like now, right? And that is forcing managers to pay more than they were willing to before, right? And so Stafford for 47, I mean, for almost, wait, tripping, 37. I think the few extra dollars I spend to get the players I want were good enough. And these are the type of guys I want to end up with, but obviously everyone has the same plan as me, most likely. Yeah, so $20 here, $20 there is where I want to be. Well, I guess I have the entire 49ers receiving core, so week 8 is going to suck for me. But it's an overpay. I'm not going to lie, but low up, high upside, low cost guys are what I want to go for just to fill these positions and just have a lot of them throughout my roster. Sam Donald, I'm gonna go. If it comes back to me, I'm definitely putting a QB out there. So what happens is whatever QB is left, there's gonna be fight for them, right? So one strategy you can employ is go real like pick up just the bare minimum at QB just to get by and fill your roster up with just talented guys. Um, I chose not to go that route because it bit me before. So yeah, I'm gonna keep nominating QBs, just to have them burn some of that cash. uh, I guess all the 49ers receivers are going and someone's nominating them for me. Let me see. Hey, one of them is likely to be healthy, right? So if I get Tebow for $4, all right, that's too much. For $4, it was worth it. For $10, fine, that's okay. Nominating nominating Debo Samuel is not going to save you guys from the QBs. So I think people are just trying to buy time right now and waste some budgets from people. So that's fine. You guys are still going to pay up for these QBs. Yo, why are you nominating the guys you want at this point of the draft? Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, this is what's left at running back. So good luck to me trying to get one of those guys. He's following the same strategy as me. Just get some QBs out there, let some managers pay up, and hopefully that means good things for us later. Okay, if you see, I just paid up for Bayshall $25. This is actually better than other drafts I've been in where he's gone for 35 because running back was so scarce. So I'm just gonna bet on these type of players. If I can get two more players at 25, a running back, I'm good, and I can just wait for wide receiver and depth. But yeah, kept them now because later on in the draft, it's going to be hell to pay to get a running back. And that's because everyone has money. So a lot of teams here with money and a lot of roster spots to fill. So it's just going to become more and more expensive to actually draft a running back later. Yeah, I mean, some teams are just going QB by committee. So you get Baker Mayfield, you get 16 for Rodgers and 16, I mean, 11 for Tua. Not bad. Still got a lot of money. Uh, not bad at all. But you can only play once at a time, one at a time. Assuming this is Josh Jacobs, yeah, okay, let me be careful because I do not want to be caught doing the Brian Robinson thing. There we go. So one more player like that, and I'm good, and I can just focus on wide receiver. So I can't be too choosy right now. I just need some sort of value on my. I just need running back depth, and I can worry about wide receiver later. Colston, shouldn't have spent my. So let's see what running back looks like. So this is what running back looks like. All right. So you gotta pay up for someone. There's not a lot of players left. So if I can get one of those guys, say Swift or Judkins or I don't know, maybe Ramondre, like just get me one of those guys and I'm good. Right. That should put me closer to 40 something because whoever is left here, when all of these guys with money start to go, it's going to be crazy. All right. And for me, I just want to be sitting there waiting for opportunities. So let's see what Corum went for 19. Not bad. Considering I paid, I think everyone is just afraid of what may happen with Jacob's case, but it might be a case that, gets prosecuted next year. So you don't know. We've seen Rishi Rice cases get prosecuted the following year, so he was allowed to play the full season. Um, let's see where I stand relative to the competition. So good. I have something at wide receiver, at least tight ends. If I get one more solid running back, it allows me to, if a couple of these guys get hurt, put them in the waiver on in my flex. Jesus, in my IR position, and then pick up someone and just tread water until further notice. So I'm gonna keep hammering QB and trying to get players off of these running backs. Everyone is avoiding putting QBs out there. They're gonna go out there. Someone has to spend. Just because I had to, someone has to. Luther Burden. Remember how high Luther Burden was going in drafts earlier this season? I mean, for 20, roughly 20, that's a good price. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'd rather get a starting running back for that money. For me, it's about opportunity cost at this point, and not necessarily the upside. But Malik Willis for 38. Yeah, so the guy who drafted Brian Robinson is complaining now that he drafted Brian Robinson, and basically that's the commissioner's fault for not reversing it. Like, you come to the draft, pay attention. That wouldn't be fair to the other managers who are paying attention. It is all fair and all fair. If you are in these drafts, try to pay attention to the players you're drafting. So you just draft for 25, that's 26, that's also good. Don't just bid on any player and then expect someone to like save you from yourself. So I think everyone's doing the QB play here. But yeah, he's complaining that the commissioner didn't reverse it. And so he's stuck with Brian Robinson. That's your fault. It happened in another draft. Like, we didn't do anything about it. That's a learning opportunity for you. Next time, hopefully, when you're drafting, you pay attention. Since it happened in that draft, whenever I see B Robinson, I always click on the name first and see. So if there are any player or players, excuse me, who you are questionable about, just click on the name and see who that player is instead of just bidding blindly on those players. So the QB run has started. Everyone's trying to get a QB um, or two. Most teams probably have just one. Let's see what the results look like. No, 15 for Jacoby Brissett. So QBs are in blue. So two here, one here. Malik Willis just went for 38. So that tells you that I am not, at least I wasn't crazy. And Caleb Williams here. Then we have three QBs here. We have two on my team, two here, one here. This manager has three QBs. This manager has two. This manager has three. This manager has three. So as you can see, it's a premium. And some managers have one, some managers have more. So that's how it's gonna go. So I could have kept going, but that's a good value. But I'm banking on maybe one of Swift, Williams, and Brees Hall. See what that gets me. If all else fails, Jodkins is here. And that's why when you give yourself options, you know. So instead of being desperate, I actually just got enough guys that I don't have to necessarily spend the rest of my money on that position, but I know I need one more. So what is this manager waiting for? You see, so yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm trying to gonna get my one QB and be done with it. I mean, my Jesus, I'm trying to going to try and get my one running back and be done. Because when that guy starts to spend money, every player is going to go for 10, 15, 10, 15, 10, 15. And he's just going to like 10, 15 us to death. And I don't want to be, you know, waiting for a player at that point. Yeah, Cam Ward is the last QB of consequence still on the board. So either you pay up now or you pay later. There we go. Same difference. So I rather get Bo Nix or Jaden Daniels. Not that Cam Ward is bad, just for the same price. There we go. Manager, he's done. I mean, he had to get a QB, so uh, there we go. Mr. Brian Robinson, who's mad at me. You double down and then you get spend more of your money on the top running back. You can be like, okay, I messed up. Let me try to salvage this. But then you cry that the commissioner is not saving you from yourself. And when we look at running back, okay, so yeah, QB for all intents and purposes is done. When we look at wide receivers, there's still a lot of guys here. Okay, so that's why I wasn't rushing to fill my wide receiver spots. Um, there's still some guys here. I mean, it's not super deep anymore, but if I can get one of these guys and then just some few pieces, I think I'll be fine. But that money has to first go to the QB, the running back position. So players at least are going a few dollars over their value. So not too bad. So I will keep waiting on the wide receiver spots and try and go running back. That's what I said. Once he starts to bid, we are all in trouble because he's got way more money than everyone else. He still needs more. Wow. Burden, Jefferson, three QBs, and now just filling up the wide receivers position. Wow. I mean, this is what happens when you spend all your money at the top positions. You're left essentially with a lot of holes to fill, and he wasn't able to get a QB because what is his max bid? He still got some money, but there's no one to spend it on. So you just do dart throws at QB right now. Okay, so he's got just QBs galore, but like actual positions, it's not much to speak of. But I like how patient I've been in this draft and where I'm at, right? Because this league is not, yes, the stars will get you far, but it is about the pieces that you have left. So in this league, I always try and go as balanced as possible. Fill up my wide receiver, my running back spots because I know guys will get hurt. Uh, and so the more running backs you have to go around, the better. It is the same strategy as drafting a top wide running back. If they get hurt, they get hurt. But here, at least if one player gets hurt, I have opportunities to really pick up the backups on waivers if they are there, or just swap in another one and call it a day. And wide receivers, there will be big weeks here and there. I'm not gonna know when to predict it, but I'll be able to get some production from the wide receiver position by committee. So my focus right now is still on running back. This group right here, if I can get a couple of players in this group, I think I'm good. Oh, let's look at tight ends. Yeah, it's not much left. So that's good for me. Those are guys that hopefully catch a lot of passes. Um, I hit the last second bidding, just bid. This is pure strategic at this point. I want to get some of those running back dollars off the board. And so I know I'm not that interested in Montgomery this year. Might come back to bite me, but uh, but if you see my roster here, everyone here is capable of being a bye week fill in. So, and this guy is still sitting here with this money, which is scary. So I'm gonna shoot my shot right now. Yeah, 36. I'm good. So I've got Brees Hall, Jacobs, Bayshaw, and Devon A. Chan. So I've got $30 left. Those $30 is just I'm gonna wait to just spread them out over the wide receiver running backs. I mean wide receiver position, and then yeah, see what that does for me this year. So I didn't want to be waiting and waiting and let another player get off the board when this guy is still here. He's still here. He still needs talent. At this point, let me see what my max bid looks like. My max bid is $26. I can get one more solid player. I can even get one more running back, corner the market on running backs if I want to. So it gives me options because I'm not struggling for QBs or whatever. I didn't spend my money at wide receiver, which I only technically need 4 to 6 running backs. I mean, I technically need 4 to 6 wide receivers, and I feel like I can get that within this budget. I'm not gonna be able to get Zay Flowers for sure, but lesser wide receivers. So if you look at the standings, I am good here. If I can get one more, just one more, and I keep saying just one more, but if I can get one more solid running back, I'm good. Because at some point we are all going to be playing in this bucket. I mean, in the bargain bin bucket. So I mean, it's over my budget right now. We're all going to be playing the bargain bin bucket at some point, a dollar here, a dollar there. I mean, if you look at the max bids, we are all kind of grouped in these kind of buckets here. Some people still have a lot of money to spend, some people don't, but like me, but I still am good at this point. If this is a team I walk away with and I just throw some pieces together, I'm happy because running back at least is no longer a concern for me. QB is not a concern for me. So tight ends are going very cheap. So Goddard, I've got rank 6 of all the tight ends. So I've got two guys in the top, say top 12 of the position. I can just keep rotating them in and out. Where I'm gonna struggle though is wide receiver, but I made a conscious choice to go that route. So let's see who else can I nominate here. T Higgins is coming off the board. So if I really wanted to, I can just like go crazy now and get a guy like Higgins if someone allows me to. If not, here we go. Just drive up, just a little bit of encouragement. See what T Higgins went for.
Argo, you can compare hotel prices from multiple.
Oops, all right. $30 for T Higgins. Not bad. Yeah, guys, sometimes a lot of this is just sitting and waiting if you want to be patient. And sometimes even if you want to be patient, even if you want to be patient, the draft forces you to not be. So you just gotta be. It's a lot of sitting and waiting for the right opportunities to get a player or two here and there, and then continue waiting. Uh, And for me, I'm just reading the draft. There's still a lot of running backs here, but some of these guys are going to be a star this year. It's just hard to know um, who, you know. For me, I just want to solidify the position and be done with it. So Okay, so we've got some big wide receivers off the board. I could have gone with one of those guys. The price was right, uh, but still being patient. Still being patient. I think there's still opportunities here to get a few, you know, multiply. Like Brian Thomas Jr. is going for 21 right now. That's insane. Carnell Tate went for 21. Terry McLaurin went for 20. And Alad McConkey went for 24. So you can see the trend is not consistent. So uh, I'll start to play hopefully at this point of the draft. Let some of this money come off the board. Because I still want to have a little bit of money once everyone starts to bid in this bucket of players right here. And even if I wanted to, there's just some. Oh, so he's doing a stack. So you've been waiting all this long for just to do a stack? It's wild. Anyways, sorry. Forgot you couldn't see me there for a second. If I'm trying to do a stack, it's not going to be. Yes, this is a full wide receiver league, my friend. Someone's asking if this is a full wide receiver league. Or he's for his full wide receivers. I think he's just trying to drive up a frenzy in the auction, so people like panic and start going for wide receivers. So you gotta understand the psychology, right? It's you know, sheesh, Carson Beck for 9. That's smart. If he plays, it's all you need, right? Got really good wide receivers, one solid running back. Um, yeah, and then back for $9. So really good. So, but he's what happens is that he probably threw us off for a loop. He started typing some stuff, and everyone looked, and then he got Carson back for $9. So it is all strategy and stuff at this point of the draft. So pay attention. Keep your eyes on the price. I'm not going to pay this much for Adams when I passed on a lot of, I think, quality receivers. And this is a chance to preserve roster spots. Um, let someone else fill the roster spots with certain players, and you just wait because every player that you bid on right now is someone who fills your roster spot. And if there's a player you later that you want, you may not be able to get that player because you don't have the roster spots up for them. So it's guys like these that I'm waiting for. If I can get Watson for like, but it's not going to be the case. That's what I meant. Once this guy starts to spend, he's just going to spend $20 here, $20 here, $20 here, $20 here, and fill out his roster that way. It's pretty good strategy, actually. Just waiting, and you see like what it looks like for him. A lot of value at these positions. A lot of values at this position, but I don't think he had to wait this long to do it. So yeah, I may just have to sit this one out for a little bit longer. Let him fill his wide receiver spots and see if I can get a player in there. There you go. Still 120, and there's still some running backs on the board, honestly. So look at this. I mean, he spent less at the QB position. So more money to spend elsewhere. We're running back, running back. So yeah, just a lot of different strategies to build your team. So I really like his draft, but again, he's Carson back at the QB position. So if you spend your money, less of your money on the QB position, you have more money to spend elsewhere. So as we can see here, he went, you know, he's got all some of the top wide receivers in the game, two solid running backs, and a good tight end, and then also because there are no QBs left, so he'll have to essentially spend at other positions to buffer that. So yeah, that's what I meant. This guy, when he starts to go, I didn't want to be there. So, but look at this. All right, let's get a player D board. See, I'm gonna go tight end because I've got two already. and there's just a lot of money on the board, a lot of money. So I'm just waiting to see if I can stretch this little budget I have. Uh, so pick up some of these guys. So I need to start working on that, but I don't want to commit 100% to one player at this point because the guys I was waiting for in the running back position are already gone. So now it's like switch my attention to hopefully picking up one more wide receiver and then one more, backup running back type. I'm happy to play in the back in the bargain bin section. So 14 for Warren. Uh, Rico Dowdle is here. I just don't know who's gonna be the guy in that backfield. And so for me, I just stay away and then just giving Aaron Rodgers and how he played last year. I don't know how much of that I want to invest in. Let me see what wide receiver looks like. Yeah, like I said, if I'm him, I pay for every single wide receiver that's left and just have a stacked bench. Yeah, that's why it was so scary to have this guy still sitting here and waiting. Wait, someone paid 28 for Odunze. See. Not a bad strategy, but I don't have money to be spending like that, so I already spent mine early in the draft. So I got money for one big player. And so, yeah, this is what it looks like it's going to be for me for now. So, yeah, it's just a waiting game at this point. See what I can get away with. Because if I spend all my budget right now, I'm basically left with $1 per player for the rest of the draft. And I don't want to do that. I mean, KC Concepcion had a game, right? So it's gonna go really high. Uh, this is a guy who was going for really cheap in drafts a few days ago. But you have one good game that can propel you to heights, and it's a lot of investment in the Browns. We've got KC, we've got Fannin. Yeah, I'm not gonna force it. I'm just gonna wait, and if I can get a player here and there, fine. Eventually, you got to get some running backs. Oh, okay, this is a different manager. Okay. So these are just the type of guys I'm going to try to invest on at this point of the draft. Just throw a lot of darts, see what happens. Because my chances of getting like a number one wide receiver is slim to none. So, and I'm certainly not going to spend that much of my budget on Myers. Um, there are guys I definitely can spend on still here. I have Coker here, Ron Wanda Robinson, Higgins, Stephon Diggs is still here, Sutton still here, Josh Downs, Shaheed, Shakir, Jalen McMillan, Flournoy, Tucker. So there's just a lot of depth at wide receiver. So so my guy here is just stacking up on wide receivers. I mean, look at those wide receivers. Just all of them. That's a good looking team. If he can get a few running backs or sprinkle in here, that's a good looking team. He's gonna have depth all throughout the season. If one person gets hurt, there's no problem. Throw them in your IR spot. Keep going. The downside is that you can play all of them. Um, Okay, I feel like I'm falling asleep here. So I'm so tired, guys. All right, let me actually get serious about filling this wide receiver position. Yeah, I've literally been just like dozing off. I've been up all day, so pardon me for dozing off here. Michael Wilson, Pittman, Jacoby, Tank Dell, Stribling. Yeah, yikes. Okay. The popular names, right? The Stephon Diggs of the world. Let me see what's at running back. Still a bunch of talent at running back. All right, I really got to get my act together. Got to get my act together. All right, Godwin. That's a no for me for now. Or am I being too picky? I'm waiting for absolutely no one here's left. All of the guys that are here, like, so what am I waiting for? I need to start getting some players. I just think I'm so tired and I'm out of it. I'm just like looking at the screen. Uh, but I could have got a Stephon Diggs. So I need to start doing some research on the guys who are here. So Cortland Sutton, Jordan Addison, Kyle Lemon, all the way down there. Um, Pittman, Rondale. Yeah, finally someone. So wide receiver is filled for me. Long live wide receiver. So if I get a couple of those guys, I'm good. think I did well, relatively speaking, to the rest of the competition. Um, so I gotta be just aggressive and get a couple guys here and there, and we should be fine. Fine. Let's see where. Yeah, so these are the type of guys. Pat Bryant for late round flyers types. Let's get Jaden Reed out here. If no one bids on him, I get him for a few dollars. But if someone bids, there goes some money to spend at the position. There goes the defenses. So my max bid is 18. So let's see who's at running back. If I just want to go one player, it's now really one player to spend that money on. So I guess I would just try and see if I can get Cortland Sutton. Good that someone is nominating, Matthew Golden. I can be too choosy at this point. I need to spend some money. So Sheesh. Okay, all the Green Bay wide receivers. I see you. Max bid is $9. Okay, one less competition for me, but that's gonna be me pretty soon. If someone nominates Colin Sutton, if I want him, I'm gonna have to pay up. So for this manager, I may just nominate wide receiver, get some of that money down, and go from there. If I didn't have a tight end, multiple tight ends, definitely go in a Ferguson. I think he's gonna have a big year. Seems like there's still a little bit of draw at the running back position. People still need running backs, I guess, so can keep nominating them. But I feel like if I can get Sutton and Wandale, at least I'm serviceable at the wide receiver position. So let some of that money come off the board. There's still a lot of value here to be had. Guys like Shakir can give you a season of what is he projected for? 6-4. I'll take that. You never know what happens. I just want these guys that are tied to prolific offenses. Brian Flournoy is a guy I want. Tucker, at this point, I'm just like dart throws. Denzel Boston, we don't know what happens in that offense. We saw Casey Concepcion featured heavily today. Uh, but I've heard great things about Denzel Boston, so we shall see. So since I waited and waited way too long for the wide receiver position, just so I'm not out of money early. So this manager's got some really good wide receivers. This wide receiver depth is crazy. If I was him though, I just go spend all my money on running back at this point. Just spend all your money on running back at this point. There's nothing else to do. And at this point, I'm just doing dart throws, guys. It don't matter. Someone can outbid me. Fine. Every dollar I call someone to spend is a dollar that I don't have to spend on some of the players I want. So so he's just filling his bench where he can, but he still needs wide receiver. So let's see. I'm definitely nominating a running back. Uh, Rodriguez is a guy that everyone is talking about right now in Jacksonville. So that's a name that people will spend up for. I'd rather go with the young guy instead of um, at least they have upside, they have chances to fail essentially, um, and they're given a long leash. That is all she wrote, guys. So he definitely is making us pay up. But I mean, you at this point he can bid on anyone. No one can challenge me at this point. So I don't know why he's like the intent on making us pay up. So, but at least I've got this tag, you know. So Cortland Sutton. So one of two. I know Evans will be fine if he's healthy, but a combination of you know these cars are good. Let me see. I got $7 to spend. So to bid. So I will wait to spend that $7. And I hear a lot of things about Pat Bryant in camp. So I don't know what to make of that. He's got all of the money in the world. Why is he not bidding on these running backs? Something smells off to me, but we will see. Anyway, so 7, 8, 8, 9. So 2 hours, 30 minutes into this one. We're getting there, almost there. Still a lot of players on the board. Um, Still a lot of talent on the board. Damn, he's making these guys pay up. For Shaheed, for 15, I'm glad they let me get away with Cortland Sutton for $12. Does he just want all the wide receiver? He wants to corner the market on wide receivers and everyone comes to him? Because there's so much, you could have spent so much on running back. I don't get it. Let's look at it. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I think I Mike may have been off there, some technical difficulties. But what I'm saying here is that this manager had all the budget in the world. The wide receiver position is super stacked, right? That's really good drafting right there. Got solid QBs and all of that. But what I see is that he has so much money and he's still letting running backs go off the board. He had drafted all of these wide receivers and could have had like multiple bites at the running back apple here, so to speak. And he let those guys just go off the board. So I'm really not sure what's going on there. But again, it's not my team, right? To each his own. Different managers have different approaches of drafting teams. Um, so, but I really liked his wide receiver core. This team is going to be deep. This team is not going to struggle for depth this season. So maybe that's a strategy I employ, but maybe get some running backs at some point because that's important. But he can also trade. Um, I mean, having Aaron Jones and Pollard as your running backs. I mean, he can also trade one of these guys and get. Wait, was that Mendoza? Oh, Marcus Murray. Okay, someone's picking my backup. Okay, Caleb Williams. I can just pick up. You know, I can just pick up. Bajan too. What are we doing here? Spears for $4 a good buy. Bixby, Jerome Simpson, Katron Allen. So in terms of running back, Braylon Allen, it's the type of guys I need to go for. Ollie Gordon, maybe who's the backup in Miami. Make sure I secure my backups as Simpson, guys like that. Tank Bixby. There's my Shakir. Nope. All right. Let me see here. Let me see Mike Clay's depth chart. And Tyreek Hill. Um, I've got Tyreek in a bunch. Yeah, he's got a nice draft. All right, then. Let me get my Wandale. All right, 13. Let's look at Miami backfield. Jalen Wright, and Ali Gordon. So that's the order. What is being said about Jalen Wright? August 15 rush. Failed to bring you. Da, 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 da. All right. So just want to make sure I'm securing just a couple of my backups, uh, protecting myself here. Like I say, I know this league and it can get pretty treacherous pretty fast. So let's see, who do I have? HN is my biggest investment. Jacobs, I don't know, to be honest with you, who's going to be his backup. A lot of people are drafting Marshawn Lloyd. Let's see. Maybe we shall see what I can get away with. Um, of all the players here right now, this is what we're gonna do. Okay. And another wide receiver. So, yeesh. I should have gone early and got my Texans defense. All right, one person done. Let me see, who do I have in the queue here? Boston. This one is darts. If one of Cortland Sutton or Pat Bryant wins that second job in Denver, oh, come on. Okay. Jerry Judy. We got Tucker and Naylor. Let's see. Two of the defenses. I guess it's a run on defenses, right? So two of the top defenses in the game. I see what you did here. Good team. Good team. I could have gone for Spears, but I didn't. Rico Dowdle, Harvey. Good backup situation. Let me see who's here. Jared Stidham. The guy takes my backup. I take his backup as well. Maybe that's why he's saving money to get his own backups. Let's see what's still here. A running back. Yeah, not much. Bixby. Blue. Yeah, there's a lot of guys here that I don't know, man. I think I waited too long for some of these picks. Um, but that's okay. It's a learning lesson. Um, this guy stacked all the wide receivers. Where am I? 13 players? You can get a defense. I can leave my kicker open, but I can get a defense at least. A respectable defense. I don't think they see. Oh, come on. Um, let's look at my team. Still have a lot of spots to fill, and I don't know why I'm waiting, but I've just been waiting for way too long. Um, All right. I guess I'll have to pay up on some of these guys. So I definitely didn't get a good bench. Oh, there's a different Malik Washington. Okay. Was not aware of that. Um, okay. There's another Malik Washington. Branch. So I'm just letting people get the players they want. I can't stock my roster with all of these guys. I have to be strategic now. If you call that strategic, just get my backups, get a few guys to throw on my bench, get some backup QBs, get out of this place. It's been a long day. Wait, what just happened? Shona Coleman for $18. Okay. I forgot that guy was still in the draft. With the amount of money he has left, She's outbidding someone. Really? This is the Marshawn Lloyd year. Yeah, guys, I think I'm just super tired and it's not helping. I'm just, oh, damn, I see what you did there. Okay. This is David Mills. He's gonna take all the backup QBs there is because he didn't draft a QB. mean, Keon Coleman. All right. Let's see, Keon Coleman. I let this one get away from me, so here we are. Definitely let this draft get away from me. All right. So we are late here in this draft, and yeah, still waiting to fill roster spots. Have a dollar left. It's not a lot of talent left on the board to fill your roster spots with. So here we are. Yeah, so here we are. Wee hours of the draft. I got three positions left to fill. Yeah, don't really know, honestly. Um, I think I could have made some better choices at my wide receiver position. I waited too long for a certain position. I could have been aggressive, more aggressive than I was, but it's okay. This is I still didn't end up with the depth I wanted at certain positions because I was waiting, right? I'd rather spend what I had on two solid players than like trying to spread this budget out like this and ending up with almost nobody. So I've got some value. I mean, Tank Bigsby is a good backup. Uh, Tucker can throw in my receiver spot in a pinch. Uh, whoa, Jalen Wright. Yeah. All right. Who's your backups, sir? You're not going after your own backups. You're snatching people's backups. This guy's got both of my backups. So I guess he's holding me hostage. It's just all good. That's the nature of the business. His QB position is super. I mean, he's got Mendoza, so and then Sanders. So yeah. I mean, if I won this strategy, I think I would have done better than what he did here. But to each his own. Give him my luck. Everyone's gonna outbid me for this one. Um, because at this rate, if you have money, who are you waiting for? Right? If you have money, who are you waiting for? Not sure. See wide receiver. Darnell Mooney still here. Jack Batch is still here. Troy Franklin. Uh, Sarat Walker. Let's see who else is here. Brandon Ayuk. Still here. Um, da, 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 da. Think the Commanders have already assigned Diggs, so don't know how this is gonna go with Ayuk. There's some guys here in Chicago that you can definitely pick up, but that is about it, right? Uh, there's not a lot of startable wide receivers here. Yeah, Torrey Horton, obviously. So I have three more, 19 or 20, 21. Two more. Um, so I'll get myself a P Ryan here and see what happens. Yeah, running back. Jason Myers. Top kicker in the game. Let's see who else is still available. Blake Grupe, Nick Folk. On the defensive side, the Vikings are actually gone. Let's see who's available on the defensive side. Vikings are gone. Falcons are the next team. Saints, Patriots, Bills, Bengals, Chargers. Cowboys. see what who's Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals, Smaje P. Ryan, and Tosh Brooks. So I'm gonna try and pick up Smaje P. Ryan here. Just move my top two picks at the top here. And this. And if all else fails, James here should be good enough to pick up. Um, but Bills, I don't know. It's telling me the Chargers are the next tier of defense. So for the Chargers, are going to be playing some killers in that division. Chargers, Detroit Lions higher than the Chargers. Mm. So Detroit and the Hello Kitties of Detroit. Yeah, and I'll just pick up a few more guys and I'll stream the position. That's it. And then pick up just a defense just for the sake of a defense. Or I can pick up a kicker. So let's see who's here. Kicker, Tyler Loop. I always like to pick up either a kicker or a defense. So Blake Groupe, see. Blake Groupe and then Nick Folk. Let's go that route. I can stream the defenses. Um because I mean it's Green Bay. The Lions have to play Chicago twice, Green Bay twice, Minnesota twice. No good options for those defenses. Is Malik Davis the backup or is it J is it blue? Like I don't know. So I did go with blue, but we shall see. Uh, yeah, so the backup there, according to Mike Clay, is TJ Giddings. So, but we shall see. We shall see what happens. Is he still available? Okay, that is it, folks. I know this one was really hard to watch because there's a lot of, just me being quiet in doing this draft is because I'm super tired and uh yeah, I'm super tired and I just I can barely get my words out. And I really enjoyed this one. I think one thing I could have done better was, you know, take some risks early at the wide receiver position. But when you look at my team, it's not relative to other teams here, it's not too bad, right? If you look at my key positions here, I think I got really good depth of these key positions. Yes, I don't have a lot of my backups, and someone's gonna get me eventually. This guy's gonna get me. He's just got all of my backups. But that's why I drafted four running backs, and so hopefully, if something goes wrong, I can withstand whatever injury may come to one of my teams. But let me get my team here. Wait, which one is my team? I told you I'm so tired. Okay, yeah, below replacement. Um, so yeah, I've got Daniels, I've got Bo Nix, you know, the the duo of 49er receivers here. If both of these guys stay healthy, I think I'm good at wide receiver. I don't know what to expect from Tyson. I also have Coker here. I don't expect him to have a massive year, but good enough to be a flex play. I've got Colin Sutton, and then my receivers are, you know, Hall, and I mean my running backs are Hall, Jacobs, Tootin, Devon A. Chain, and Sam Laporta and Dallas Goddard are my tight ends. And then on the bench, I don't have much to speak of, just some, opportunity plays here. May drop one of these guys and pick up a kicker, I mean, a defense at some point in the draft. But yeah, for sure. This is what my team looks like. Could have been better. I could have definitely spent up our wide receivers and got some solid wide receivers here. I didn't, so here's what that's what it looks like. There's a team here. This guy, he just got all of the wide receivers. Like his team is just all of the mid-tier wide receivers are on his team. Like if you look at his bench, it's just like all of these guys, right? It's a lot of startable players. Um, but he didn't really spend much at running back. So he's gonna have to drop one of these guys to pick up a running back. So I'm definitely going to be looking at his team, considering they are not put on IR for the season to start. I'm going to be looking at his team because eventually he has to drop someone to pick up a kicker when the season starts. But he's very thin at QB, so he could have spent some of his money at the QB position, but he didn't. He just got two QBs, and so he doesn't even got a backup QB. So you never know what happens, but as much as I like his team, you want some balance here. Um, but he can always trade a wide receiver for, say, a running back. Um, yeah, and then you got this guy who's got a good mixture of wide receivers and good mixture of running back. So it's just a mixed bag for everyone, really. Um, you know, it just depends on what you win, what you decided to do early. I mean, this wide receiver cores are worse than mine, but this guy is a guy who spent 67 on Brian Robinson as opposed to Bijan Robinson. So relatively speaking, he did okay. Um, he did okay, but that's how the cookie crumbled. And some you have some managers here who obviously he's going to put Charbonnet in his IR spot, lets him pick up another kicker or something. But this is what his team looks like. Quentin Johnston, he's got two wide receivers, I mean, running backs, key running backs. And then he's got just a huge collection of good wide receivers. Second QB is suspect. He's got a bunch of my backups. So um, I'm going to be keeping my eye on him. One of my favorite drafts is my man here. He's been in this league for quite a while. So definitely a good draft. He's got some really good wide receiver talent. He could have improved at running back, I want to say. But let's see what he has here. Running back. Yeah. Got good wide receivers. Got Dowdle, got Harvey, got Spears. Right. So this is the one that I let get away. I could have picked up Tajay Spears for $4. So there's just a lot of these little things here and there that comes back to bite you later. And waiting sometimes too long is one of those things. He's got the top two defenses in the league, so he's going to be sitting, pretty. Um, and then you got, just a lot of different constructions, but at least it forced people to take risk at wide receivers, and it forced you to think about wide receiver instead of just loading up on the running back position, which is what most leagues tend to be, where the emphasis just goes on running back, and the number of roster spots are shallow, and so it really does force you to make a decision if you want to um how much you want to spend at these gaming positions. And what else? So Josh Killer's on pop. There you go. So you can pick up guys like I want to say, what's the backup in San Francisco? I have him on another team. Uh Herbert here, Amar Ross, Sim Browns. This is the Stephon Diggs pick here. Could have paid off for Stephon Diggs, could have paid off for Brian. But if you know anything about the offense in Denver, they like to spread the ball around. So I don't want too much exposure to that offense. And then Christian McCaffrey, and then Brooks, and then Kamara. So he's extremely thin at running back, but he's got good tight end depth. He spent a lot of money at tight end. And then yeah, it's just a lot of money at tight end, and then just some dart throws here, guys that could stand to benefit if something happens. Again, tight end. So he's gonna have to drop one of the tight ends to pick up someone else, and then um Shook, and just look at this Chase and Puka Nakua. He's got Saquon Barkley, Genty, um, the dual Green Bay receivers. He's not gonna know what, you know, who to essentially play each week because it's gonna rotate. Decent enough tight end position, and Kirk Cousins as the second QB, and Spencer Rattler, and then just a whole bunch of nothing. And then trenches here, he's got two QBs, right? Drake May and Dak Prescott, three actually. And so this is what his team ended up being. Robinson, which is actually a really good. Did really good at the wide receiver position. Than I thought he would. So this is for wide receivers, but running back is super suspect. And then we got in the bidding war for Stevenson. He got Stevenson. Purdy and what else? He's got Warren. Okay, so he made up for and then Kyle Monongai. So that's a really good pick. And just all of these second tier running backs that fill up your bench. He just went crazy on those guys. And then he's got Turpin and then some no name jet players that I don't know. Um, and then here we have Josh Allen, Collins, Flowers, Odunze, Micah Lemon, and then we have wow, this is my favorite draft. Sherrick, we have Kyron Williams, and we have Bucky Irvin. And then we have Dobbins. If Dobbins stays healthy, and then you have Woody Marks, and then you have Jackson. And then on the bench, Simpson, Sadiq, you know, and then it kind of just falls off from there. Will Howard. And yeah, so again, there's just a lot of roster constructions here. I'm not going to like do all of this, but again, thank you for watching. It's been a long 2 hours plus. Um, I'll be shocked if I even post this video because it's like I was half asleep during this draft. But again, definitely thank you for watching. I have to call it a day. I'm super tired. That's why you barely heard from me today. All right. Take care of yourselves. I'll definitely bring you more drafts that are a lot more fun than this. Um, this was just me mumbling my way through this one because I barely have the words. Um, I would say one of the lessons of this draft, if you don't take away anything meaningful, is just watch the first few, maybe 30 minutes of the draft. Is super interesting. But when you go into your drafts and you see B Robinson from Atlanta, please check. All right. Please double click on the name and see if it's actually Bijan Robinson instead of Brian Robinson. All right. So a lot of managers are falling prey to that. I've seen that in a couple of leagues now, and it's cost managers tremendously. So make sure you're checking for the player's name before you bid on that player. Okay. That is all I have for now. Until next time, peace out.